So I'm still talking about sacred texts of the world, and I'm going to mention this book because I forgot to the other day, Edible Paradise, and I feel like returning it because I don't have a use for it. It's not really that good. I can't find out. The book doesn't let me know what her education is, anything about her background, and honestly, this is it's lovely. I love looking through gardening books. But she hasn't taught me anything really much. Yeah. Now, I have bookmarked something to talk about, page 78. So what she's talking about is different mulch materials that can be useful, or things to amend to your to your soil, things to add for gardening, to garden in. So I marked this one because I remember years ago when I was working at the zoo, the people that I worked with, one of the foremen asked me what I thought about mushroom compost, because the zoo was offered a whole bunch of free mushroom compost. It would have been organic mushroom compost because it was from Money's Mushroom. They produce organic mushrooms, and for everyone. Lots of mushrooms. So anyway, and so when I worked there, my co-workers actually respected me. It was a good place to work. They were educated people, and they recognized that I was also an educated person. So it's amazing. Yes, when you actually work.
My favorite place to work
people.
was the museum of the city, because the other people were educated, and they realized, like. I just finished my bachelor's. A couple of the bosses there had master's degrees, and the oldest woman there came to me, and she said, "We've decided that you're the smartest person."
Yeah. But it's
and I was
amazing.
just a janitor. So
it's amazing when you work with people that do not have very much education. They have no idea. They have no clue how much they do not know, and
all they know is you're kind of a challenge to their belief system, that they're the smartest thing going, and they will treat you accordingly.
Yes,
right?
It's like I've been talking a lot about dominance, and the aggressive side of the spectrum of people versus the passive side of the spectrum of people, and a lot this summer. Because I have realized over my years of living as a very passive person that this really is the fundamental source of all the problems of the world. This is really what. So anyway, I've realized that a lot of the time with dominance, they with anybody on the aggressive side of the spectrum, they're all dominants as far as I'm concerned. But they're aggressive. Whether you're an entertainment, they're, oh, look at me. Yeah. Well, they're sucking your energy. They need it, and they're going to take it. And if you don't give it to them, watch how they get. Yeah.
So they're in the business of upstaging.
Yes.
Right? And if you take, like Marlon Brando used to step on he'd get in a competition with people like that. He'd start stepping on their feet and things like that.
Yeah.
And when you start doing that, they know, that you're getting in the, messing around with their chance in the line.
But the wonderful thing about that whole spectrum of people, that side of the population of the world, which is growing more than the passive side, unfortunately. Maybe it's just our society. I don't know. I can't say for sure. Anyway,
I played
you may as well be a neon fluorescent color. I can see if you're a dominant or a passive. And anyway,
I played soccer with all sorts of people, all sorts of colors, nationality, races, even genders, and ethnicities, religions. and the need to dominate is there everywhere. Majority of people don't want to play team. There you go.
But what I wanted to say is one wonderful thing about being a passive person. Now, you may not think this is wonderful. I do. If you were extremely passive, it is often misread, even by passive people, as being stupid. So there are absolute morons on the furthest aggressive dominant part of the scale.
Donald Trump.
I'm not gonna say any names or anything,
okay.
And I wouldn't put him anyway. He throws me off what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that you can hide. If you are very passive and you happen to have a brain and you happen to enjoy learning, the aggressive people won't see it. They won't see you for who you are. Now, this can be very frustrating, but it's amazing how well you can hide, because they never expect that you're actually thinking. You don't have to lie, but believe me, if they clue in at any point, if you let them know that you actually have a brain, we'll watch their claws come out. So just beware, but I think it's a blessing. Anyway, mushroom compost. So I got sidetracked. Now, she's saying here that mushroom compost, it has an addition of gypsum to it. So it is usually really alkaline, she says. So it's suitable for acidic soil. So now, and if you have alkaline soil, she's saying that's maybe not for you. So now I can actually answer the question that was asked of me 20 years ago. Back then I was like, honestly, I have no idea was my answer, because I'm like, well, I don't know which of the nutrients the mushrooms are sucking out and what they're leaving behind, and honestly I couldn't tell them, and they didn't know either. None of us knew. Well, at least this is a start, knowing that it's alkaline, right? And she has given me this. So thank you, Vera Grutink or whatever. Sorry, I'm not very good at pronouncing things, as you can see as I'm following through the sacred text of the world. But, I mean, no disrespect. Anyway, what I was going to say about that is, now, recently James has spoken with a woman who, her sister also has multiple myeloma, and her sister happens to be in Prince Edward Island. Now, one thing interesting about Prince Edward Island is they've been allowing conventional farming, which uses a lot of pesticides, in their sandy soil, which, I mean, the water just flows right through sandy soil. They've been growing a lot of potatoes, as you know, in PEI, and potatoes are really heavy feeders. They need a lot, right? So that's all going down. All of that fertilizer, all that, whatever the potatoes aren't taking up, shoots right through. So, interesting thing about PEI, all of their drinking water comes from groundwater sources. Smart, hey? So, now there's been a few small movements trying to encourage the population of PEI to go organic. It would have been easy. It's not a very big location. Make the whole thing organic, and it's awesome, right? Well, somehow that keeps getting shot down. And multiple myeloma, if you've read what was that book called? The Ecologist's Look at Cancer in the Environment, something like that. I'm not sure what the title of that book was, but I did write it in the blog somewhere. And it's a very must read. Multiple myeloma is linked to agriculture. They've found that agriculture regions have more of it. So, and I don't think that it will in the future because we've all been eating Roundup. So for 20 years, thank you. So anyway, this woman has multiple myeloma, and I'm thinking, why not grow a few mushrooms in PEI? The soil's acidic there. You add the mushroom compost to the soil. There you go. Go organic PEI. Anyway, I should start this over so I can talk about the Kristen.